Welcome to Pirates of Drinax. We will be picking up where we left off last week. Glenn won't be joining us tonight. He's not feeling very well, but hopefully he gets better and we'll see him next week. So where we left off, these guys are playing their Imperial Travellers, the Navy Marine guys, and they engaged with at Fantasy. They engaged with a pirate carrier and a called the Skull and a far trader called the Happy Accident. And these two ships uh, were obvious; they were known pirates, and these guys came in and beat them up pretty bad. But the Skull was making its run to escape, and these guys were in there. They were in light fighters, and the Red Voidborn, the tag of the Eurisco, noticed something and sped off towards the Skull. Got so close to the Skull that when the Skull made its jump field surrounded her ship, and she jumped with it. Which I can only imagine. Um, she was probably pretty hungry and pretty cooped up, sitting in a light fighter all that time. But
Yeah.
you know, and so
Yeah.
these guys, they calculated where the Skull would have jumped to, and they determined there was only a couple of places. And so the Eurisco and their punitive fleet went, I want to say to Paul. Let's see here. Take another look. Yes, they went to Paul, and the idea being that, well, first they went to Sink, and then they jumped to Paul, thinking that maybe they could have gone that way. These guys took the Dirty Beast and jumped to the World, and the idea being that they were going to attempt to see if they went there. And come to find out, they found a pirate asteroid here in the World system, not related to the world itself. And on this pirate, they discovered that this pirate asteroid. The rumor around the port is that this asteroid was hit by some kind of probe ship that had a conscious intelligence on it, and it ran into the asteroid. Its original mission was to find ancient sites, and it ran into the asteroid and it kind of built itself up. And its name is Minister, and it is a little eccentric. And the pirates and raiders that use this as a waypoint and a refueling station just kind of ignore it and let it do its thing, and it lets them dock. And there were several ships here, and when they docked, they found that on one of the landing pads they saw that Red's light fighter was sitting there, and they have tracked her down, and she is living in a residential apartment with what is presumably her sister. Well, not living maybe is not the right word, but that's where she's at right now. And so these guys have been invited in to have a chat with her to find out exactly what the hell is going on. Before we get started, we would like to point it out that we do have a merchant store via Zazzle. We've got hoodies and t-shirts and buttons and whiskey rocks glasses and beer steins and just a ton of stuff on there. And 100% of the proceeds from that store goes back into our channel. It helps us cover costs of things like Roll20 Pro or Incarnate Pro, even the software that we use to make these videos. And so all of those minor subscription fees gang up on us at the beginning of the month, and then they're not so minor anymore. So if you want to help us make ends meet, go over and get a Pirates of Drinax t-shirt, and we appreciate everything you do for us. All right, so Red calls you guys up and kind of buzzes you in to this. These apartments are essentially they're like 5 stories of these apartments. They're carved into the actual rock of the inside of this asteroid. And so she invites you guys up and kind of opens the door and she says, "Come in, come in, come in." And she's like looking around. She's really super nervous. And she says, "Does Kron know that you're here?"
Does Kron know that we're here?
Well, he sent you to the system.
We're in the system.
Yeah, he sent you to the system.
But not that we're here.
Yeah, he knows that we're in this system.
So she brings you guys in, and her older sister. She introduces her older sister, and she tells you, "This is my sister Una." And Una brings you guys out a beer, and probably a generic beer.
Yay.
Nice.
I know. And basically, Red tells you. She tells you that the story about her past, that is the rumor that is floated around the Eurisco from the minute that you guys came aboard, isn't exactly 100% accurate. So the story that went around was that the old woman, Captain Lynott, was a part of a punitive fleet that went in, discovered a pirate base, and bombed the shit out of it. And basically, because they're pirates, everybody was to be thrown out the airlock. And the story goes that this meant everybody that was on the base. They didn't care if they were kids or what. They all went out the airlock. And that part probably sounds a little, I mean, to you guys even would sound a little unlikely. Mostly, it wouldn't be unlikely if instead of Lynott had found it, if it was Admiral Kron, you'd probably find it a little bit more believable. But Captain Lynott, and of course Imperial legal code certainly doesn't specify that. That you just kill men, women, and children indiscriminately, even if they're at a pirate base. That doesn't sound exactly. That never quite sounded right. But the story goes that Captain Lynott did toss her parents out the airlock, and as well as any siblings that she had, but took a liking to Red and took her back. And Red grew up in the slums around the base at Pax Rulin, the Navy base, and grew up and joined the Navy to become a fighter pilot. That is mostly true, except that it wasn't only Red that she I guess rescued. She rescued Red, but she allowed Una to leave on her own because Una was older. And this was okay with Una because Una, obviously, she was older, but she didn't want to be tied down with her little sister. Her parents were indeed tossed out of an airlock as pirates, but Red and Una, of course, Una went her way. Red went with Lynott back to Pax Rulin, and the two lost contact and have not seen each other until recently. But in the battle, during the battle at Fantasy, Red noticed one of the fighters that had launched from the Skull, and the style of flying sparked her memory, and she thought that it was very similar to the style of flying that her sister would do, and so she followed, and she turns out that she was right, which sounds metagaming, sounds a little far-fetched, but whatever.
Yeah,
and so,
whatever.
But here we are. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it. And so, um, so this is she tells you this, and Una seems Red has been trying the time that she has spent here. Um, Red has been trying to impress upon Una that everybody on this base needs to get their shit packed and they need to get out of here because Vice Admiral Crond is not messing around. He will bomb and destroy any pirate base that he finds, and he will put everybody to the sword. And so this little hidey hole that they've got in the world system is in danger. And Una, Red says this again right in front of you, and Una says, if they're not here already, then if there's no punitive fleet here already, then I'm really not that worried about it. And Red says to you guys, tell her I'm not wrong.
I mean, in light of, Una taking active steps to change the reality of the situation, and David will ask, one of his companions, because he's not really a electronics guy, to bring up a star map on a hologram, and he'll say, look, we were right fucking here, and you've got a J2, and we've covered all your exits, and we are the ones that came to where you are, and so if we don't do something to cover up your existence here, they're coming. I mean, if you can be in denial of the thing, but are you in charge of the skull?
She says, Una, no, she's not. She's simply a pilot. But come to find out, she does still have their parents' old Type S Suleiman class scout ship that is docked here at this asteroid base, and she looks at the holographic map that you bring up, and she it does impress upon her the gravity of the situation. And Red turns to Colonel Zayden, and she says, "So, you're not going to tell Admiral Crond about her?"
Fuck Admiral Crond. Making him look like a dumbass is totally within my best interest. My companions agree we don't want to follow that motherfucker. But the only plan I could come up with off top is we need to steal the skull and jump it, and then have it look like it's coming out of a misjump and self-destruct right in Crond's face.
Wow. Do that?
Interesting.
I don't know how to do that. I don't think.
So
we could probably get some help to do that, but I don't think any of us could do that ourselves.
Oh no, I would suggest we do it ourselves. The only other thing I know to do is kill everybody and wait for them to come here. But I'm not thinking that plan is suiting Red. So in light of in light of everything, I think if we were to get some people to steal the skull, or the captain of the skull to give it up willingly, the whole base could be saved. But if not, I mean, man, it's just a matter of time. They're going to come looking for us, or we've got a report that, something. But if we make it look like it misjumped, that would explain its late coming out of jump, and it would be like it never came to this place to begin with. So it would cover the trail.
Whoever wants to can make a engineering J drive plus intellect check. Or education, your choice.
I have no business doing this, but I will.
It's only a -3. I mean,
No, it's just a -2. I've got supplementary stats,
I got 7, so I probably got
Okay.
just one less than was needed.
I got 5.
So actually, Jace did get it.
Cool.
This was a routine check. So Jace knows. Jace knows enough about jump drive mechanics. I guess mechanics. No. Jump drive science. There is. The reality is that we know very. We use jump drive every day, and the reality is we know very, very little about it. We know the basic physics of how to get into jump space. We know how to get out of jump space. What we don't understand is the why. The theoretical limit of J drives, for instance, is jump 6. Nobody knows why. And I mean, as far as I know, there are very few, if any, ships that have J6 capability. But one of the weird quotients that is required for a ship in jump is that there has to be a living person aboard.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That's correct.
And nobody knows why this is. So, for instance, an artificial intelligence or in this case, a conscious intelligence, as an example, it could calculate the astrogation check. It could even it can move the power around, and it can make the jump. It will not succeed in that jump unless there is people aboard. Now,
Right.
what comes out the other end? That's a really good question. Because in most cases, nothing comes out the other end. The ship just disappears for all time. The other side of that is that there are Flying Dutchmans that show up on occasion. A ship will come out of jump, and when it's scanned, there's nobody aboard. Nobody knows what happened to them. There are plenty of instances. I mean, it's not a frequent occurrence, or I would even say a common occurrence, but there have been plenty of reports of this happening. Enough that when you watch, documentaries about it on your local video channel, it's not like you're watching Ancient Aliens. This shit really happened. So,
well, we need Red to be on the Skull and to make a heroic getaway in her fighter as the Skull leaves jump, and then right after she gets away, the Skull needs to be very small particles that leave very little scientific trace of where the fuck it's been and what it's been doing. That way, Red can tell the story about how she got caught up into the jump bubble because of that, science, numbers, blah blah blah. The ship comes out here. Red's lucky to be alive and has gotten away, and she retains her honor and good standing within Imperium. And
I think she wants to go with her sister, though, dude. So
if she wants to go with her sister, then Red should not make a heroic getaway as the jump.
and you should just have a nice video of the skull exploding.
Well, no, because they're at the other system posted up. So if the skull comes, they see this. They see the skull come out. They see it. We don't have to. Them seeing it is better than us telling them.
So now,
couldn't we just say we found it abandoned somewhere, like not at this asteroid, but like at somewhere else?
We could take it to the world and say
it got abandoned at
the world.
That'll be really confusing because it's
Yeah, I mean,
they won't find any evidence of where anybody went.
So this system, you've got the world, which is the innermost planet. This asteroid base is somewhere out here in the inner belt. That's a long ways.
Yeah, we could abandon it anywhere in the system though, and be like, "Well, we found it abandoned here, and there's no sign of anybody or whatever."
That's true. That's
Or
true.
this large gas giant way the fuck over here with Big World, Rad World, and Big World.
Yeah.
If we make it look like it was abandoned over there, then no one would look over here. They would be like, oh well, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we could spend a lot of time in the system too if we want to. Because if we really did find it there, it would probably take us a while.
Yeah.
That is true.
But I mean, all this hinges on, them offering up the skull as
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, if they want to keep it, then
we could.
they need to figure it out.
Collateral for your life, really, in this situation.
I mean, it'll help us with our story because if we say we didn't find anything, they'll probably send more people to look.
Right.
But if we find something that doesn't really point in any direction, then I don't know what they're going to do after that.
Yeah. But him finding a pirate base here in this system is a win. I'm not necessarily sure I want to give him.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the things that would occur to you, I mean, Krond is, I mean, he's like a dog with a bone, right? If you were to report, let's say that you use this outer large gas giant as a location of the supposed wreckage of the skull, or the wherever it ended up. It is not. Your experience with Krond would be that it would not be beyond him to basically send the entire fleet to scour this system.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like Lord Vader. He will obliterate every planet here, turning over every rock if that's what it takes.
Yeah, we need to see this thing explode. That's really the only solution, I think.
Or just we could say we didn't find anything.
Well, and he'll come back.
Maybe.
Unless
I don't know what'll attract more attention.
Unless he sees the skull somewhere else.
I mean,
we could send it to.
So Una is kind of coming over, to your guys' way of thinking, and Red says, Una still has their parent Suleiman. Theoretically speaking, she says, Una and I could just get into the scout ship and we could take off. And, whatever happens, we wouldn't be here. And Red's pretty straightforward about this. She's like, she looks at Una. She goes, I don't know how you feel about everybody else in this space, but I don't give a damn about them as long as you're okay and we get away.
Well, the thing is, if they come and they take over this place, right, and they do it like as a force that comes and do arrests and stuff, they're gonna do forensics all over the ship, all over everything, and any mention of any crew member that's not accounted for, they're gonna look.
Probably
true.
They
might interrogate more people,
or they might just blow up the place immediately. That's another option. Knowing Krond, he might just destroy it immediately because that's what he's done in the past.
Yeah, he always just saying blow stuff up.
He's just gun happy with it.
That's probably true, but it would be at least a week for the Euroscope to get to the world, which it can do in a single jump. But a Suleiman class scout in that week could have jumped to Verito, which you want to go that way? Ugh.
Just not much.
No,
over
you want to
there.
go to fantasy, man. That's where
That's
they want to go.
That's very possible. She could have jumped. The Suleiman could jump to fantasy, and do wilderness refueling, and immediately jump probably to Birney, and from Birney do wilderness refueling. Man, she doesn't want to go to Urgo. That's a red zone.
So she's
Well-
going to have to take her little scout and go just slinking on by. What she's going to have to do. It's not a wanted scout. It's not
True.
marked as a pirate ship. Just go and do your thing.
I
Well,
could go straight
I mean-
to Paul and be fine, probably.
You need to dye your
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah, she could even jump straight to Paul, and escape that way. I mean, the scout ship probably is flagged, but it would be exceptionally old. What I'm saying is that Scout has a J2, and in that amount of time would be able to make their way. I mean, she could go through Urgo. What is the deal with Urgo? I don't think we've ever been to Urgo, have we?
Well, we've been to Urgo.
It sucked.
It was like the Mad Max kind of world.
No, I thought.
Yeah, we fought
Was that Urgo?
mechanical. Yeah, giant spiders, and there's mutants and shit. We landed there because we didn't want
yeah.
to get placed into
That's why it's a red
or we
zone.
figured they wouldn't follow us. That's why we went there.
Yeah.
We were like, they won't follow us into the red zone, and yeah, why would you?
That's
go there?
right.
It was awful.
Urgo is a humongous Judeco failure. That's what Urgo is. That's right. I forgot.
If they want,
I
if
forgot
they
about
want
the
to go
Mad
there,
Max
we can
guys.
tell them about it at least. So.
Yeah.
We can't because it wasn't ours.
Oh yeah, you're right. We can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. My bad. The pirates went there. We
Yeah.
did not.
So I mean, yeah. So yeah, they could go that way. They could jump. She could jump to Bernie and then Urgo, and within a couple of weeks or a couple of months worth of time, they could be, all the way back, going the long way around, all the way back over to the Dust Belt. I mean, it really depends on where they want to go. I mean, if Red and Una want to stay being pirates, they certainly could.
Mhm.
Who is
not
the
really our
captain of the
business.
Skull?
Some, I mean,
Some guy.
yeah, some pirate.
NPC.
Here, I'll give you a name. Let's see, it is. Here we go. Crew names. The captain of the Skull was a pirate named Clonehand Brimmer.
All right. Well, I mean,
We
Should
can
we have a
arrest Mr.
dinner?
Brimmer.
yeah.
Well, but then he'll spill the beans about other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
That's true.
That's why we're gonna find the ship abandoned, is because then there's nobody to question.
Right.
Or not find the ship. I mean, whatever.
Let's blow it up.
Yeah. I mean, we can let them go and we could just go
You know
take
what we
over.
could do? We could. So there's that big gas giant. Let's just let it fall in.
You could do that, yeah. Gas
It's
giants
made-
are
it
a
fell
great
into the
way of
gas
getting
giant.
rid of garbage. I guess.
Yeah, and
But-
they're not
yeah.
going to know who was on there or not. It's going to be a big pain in the ass to get anything out.
Yeah, we could just record a video of it falling in, if we want.
While
That's
it's
pretty
drifting
good.
in, we could shoot at it and make it look
Yeah.
like and
Like
and
we
all of that.
created the situation where it fell in.
Right.
Then we'll be
Because-
heroes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Are they? Does that work for our friends? Just junk a ship that expensive? I guess they have to. It's wanted. It's too hot.
Well, it's not their ship. So
Oh
it's that
fuck.
it's that
Oh,
redhead.
then we just steal it. And no, I'm just kidding. I don't know about stealing
Well,
it.
will they help us?
We've
Would
never
they
done
help us?
anything like that
Yeah.
before.
Would they help us? Oh, what is the word I'm looking for?
Hijack?
Seize? No, that's pirate talk. Seize, confiscate.
Salvage.
Yeah.
Go and make whoever wants to can make a for this idea can make a persuade plus social check. Or
Oh,
Not
I
me.
got +2.
Dang.
6. I
I got
have
8.
Spartan.
If you want to
Yeah.
so
go with me.
Keith or not Keith, Darren poses this idea and that we could just dump it into the gas giant. And Una says, well, she says, excuse me. So Una says, I could talk to Captain Clonehand Brimmer, and we could probably do that. Oh, my
Well,
allergies.
that
She
was
says,
really big.
because first of all, let's be honest. She says, Una says, the skull took quite a bit of damage, and so it's probably easier for the captain to just hire on with another crew until they can get another ship, rather than
I'll,
spending money
I'll
to
even
repair this one.
yeah, I'll even give them 1,000,000 credits per severance package to split up amongst their crew and help them relocate and everything, if that'll help.
That would certainly help. Yeah. Like I said, it'd probably be easier to just find another prize ship than it would be to spend hard-earned credits fixing up this old beast, right? And so,
Yeah.
if you're going to offer 1,000,000 credits to split around the crew, that's that just sweetens the deal. That kind of gives them incentive to take their time and go ahead and they'll even crew the ship and move it over to the gas giant if that's what you'd like to do.
We would like that, and then after they make their escape and get some distance between us and the flotilla, we want them to reemerge and make sure it's well known that it is they that escaped Grand due to his incompetence and all that. Easy to outwit him.
Okay, so you're wanting Una and Red to spread information, or do you want
No, I'm wanting Captain Jackoff
Okay.
to
Okay. Yeah.
to take this and take the crew and get away and get yourself reestablished. And once you're able to do that, I want him to boast about how what a fucking incompetent fucking limp dick fucking Gron was, and how
Okay.
how it was due to his dumbassery that allowed them to escape. Any competent, if any competent leader would have been there with that flotilla, we would have been smacked. But Gron was such a fucking dumbass. We just did a quick okey doke and got the fuck around. I bet the son of a bitch fucking, it celebrated like he won something. But we're back, and now we're coming back stronger.
Okay. So Una takes this plan, and she kind of has this half smile and about it, and she says, I think Captain Brimmer is going to like this plan. And so, over the next day or so, she goes and she meets with Captain Brimmer and the remaining crew, and they agree. She convinces them. I mean, like I said, they're getting 1 million credits out of it. They don't have to fix up the they don't have to fix up the skull, and they get to make Krond look all kinds of stupid. And so, over this period, her and Una pack up their belongings into their Type S, and Red thanks you for everything that you've done, and shakes your guys' hands, and she says, she goes, I honestly didn't expect this amount of help from Marines, but she says, protecting my sister is more important to me than following military protocol, and I guess if I'm going AWOL, I'll be wanted now. But
nope, you're going to be listed as missing in action because we're going to take your fighter and put it on the skull, and you will never be heard from again. Because I want you to know deep down in your heart that Marines are better.
They're better than their Navy Uber drivers.
Yeah, better than our taxi driving Navy fucks. You know.
So
nice.
Over the next couple of days, you guys do exactly that, and somebody can make a. That's a good question. Somebody can make an electronic sensors plus intellect or education check.
I think that's me.
And somebody else can make a gunner turret plus dexterity check.
I've got gunner turret, I think.
Okay,
I do.
good.
I've gunner turret 1, and a dex of 12 gives me a +3.
I got an 8 on the electronics check.
Okay.
I got a 7 on the gunner turret.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so you get footage. So Jace uses sensors while Happy is flying, and Jace gets footage of very thrilling footage of Colonel Zayden firing the pulse lasers, and then a missile launch. And the missile hits because the Dirty Beast has a double turret of 2 pulse lasers and then a second double turret that is a missile rack and a sandcaster. And this missile slams into it. And the missile slams into it just before the missile slams into the skull. This sensor footage shows all of these fighters coming off of the skull and making their way out away from the ship as it smokes and smolders and dumps into the gas giant. And part of the sensor footage that Jace gets is a close-up that Red's fighter is still on the deck. And the last footage that you get is that of this ship tumbling into this gas giant.
Cool. That should work.
Yeah.
So the plan was, at least the original plan was that you guys were going to meet back up with Krond in Paul, I believe.
That's where we're headed.
That's where your rendezvous was. So, who wants to make a astrogation check? Anybody?
Oh, shit. I can't do any math.
Happy's usually our astragator.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, You gave us the options
Nobody
to
has
be
a conventional
Marines.
man.
And,
There we go.
we wanted to stand guard and shoot at people.
Right.
We didn't want to fly stips. The fuck.
Does anybody have engineering power?
I have engineering at 0. So I think I got that right.
Yeah, go ahead and make an engineering plus intellect or education check.
8.
Perfect. And finally, yeah, look at that. And so Happy jumps the dirty beast to Paul. And you guys are in jump for a week. Presumably, I would assume, are you even going to bother to edit the sensor footage, or are you just going to give it to him raw?
They'll probably want the raw footage.
That's probably true.
Yeah. So
I mean, trying to look, we are not the covert spy motherfuckers trying to audit or I mean trying to alter the shit will make it look conspicuous as fuck.
That's true.
Because we're not gonna do it good. I mean,
Right.
you know, they didn't teach that shit in the war college.
That's true. That is probably true. The more you muck around with it, the worse the less believable it will be. And so,
No, but I'll put it in a report. Is what I will do.
okay. So you,
I'll type up a big ass report. You
okay,
know, explaining in detail, and I'll throw a whole bunch of stupid details in it to make it fatter. You know, like I'll talk about our fiber intake and I mean just stupid little details I'll put all in the report, you know. And in the report, you know, I'm going to add some expenses to try to launder my books a little bit, you
Okay.
know, because
Okay.
I just dropped $1 million in bribe money or something.
okay,
You know,
Okay.
I'm gonna say that I got ripped off on a trade deal
okay,
with some passing Aslan.
sure, okay. What are so you come up with this report? What are you guys studying for the rest of the week, or what are you doing?
I'm writing the
studying
report and I'm
tactics.
making my people fucking double check my work.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I can double check his work. I'll do that.
We
okay.
all need to get our story straight, so
Yeah.
that'll be
Yeah.
So you guys spend the week making sure that everybody's on the same page. Red's dead, and you know, this report basically shows how this all went down. Okay.
Well, I mean, if we get interrogated separately, you know, we have to be able to, you know, tell the same story, and we need to make sure that, you know, our verbiage is not all the same. You know,
true.
like, yeah, you know,
Gotta get
everybody
out
needs to
that
say the
story.
same thing but in different words.
So you guys,
Right.
after a week of planning and practicing this, uh, you emerge from jump in Paul and are able to dock back with the Eurisco. Um, let's see. I get who. I don't know. Does Zayden have admin?
Hell yeah, I got admin.
Go ahead and make
I've been in war college.
Go ahead and make an. I went to officers school. God damn it! So go ahead and make an admin plus intellect check.
All right. Well, 6, but my work has been checked by my companions.
That is true. So
I do not have admin, so
I have admin.
okay,
I
he'll
could
be
do
able.
an admin role.
I
okay,
could
go ahead and
probably
make
check
a
the
yeah.
spelling.
Go ahead and have Darren make a admin plus intellect check.
That's a 6 also.
Oh shit!
You guys should have sharpened your crayons. That's
we
my
should have.
Yeah.
only criticism for this report.
So
Well,
all three of you can make a deception plus intellect check.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Uh,
Oh man, I'm not doing
Oh,
it. Oh, I rolled
so
exactly the same, dude.
yeah. So our story is we're gonna get real drunk and we're gonna hand this report in and we're gonna tell them that we've been drinking and celebrating, and that's why everything looks fucked up. So this is an order.
Fucking Marines.
Everybody right now needs to go take 6 shots right there. That's called the
Yes, sir.
revolver
Yes,
right
sir.
there. Yeah.
Can do.
So, you hand in this report. Me and admin, it should be a fairly routine report, but it wasn't good enough to really sell this destruction. I mean, some questions come up, not directly from Admiral Cron, but kind of from his little group of cronies that he floats around him. Questions such as, well, why, in your estimation, why did the skull jump to the world? And it's pretty well known, or excuse me, it's pretty well believed that among the Imperial Navy that there's really nothing at the world.
Yeah.
They
Well, I don't know, man. Why do I continuously sit on my nuts every time that I sit down too quick?
because your
You know,
pants
these
are
are
too
just
baggy.
fucking questions. You know, we're still drunk. I'm drunk as fuck in the meeting.
I
Talking
think they
shit.
misjumped.
Yeah.
That's my personal professional
Yeah.
opinion.
Your
yeah,
personal
if-
professional opinion is what?
They misjumped, and that's why they were at the world.
That actually is pretty good.
They weren't in a hurry. I mean, they jumped like with inside the limit.
Yeah, they
and
were inside the
everything.
100
Yeah.
diameter limit, and
We
so
were shooting at them.
Are you accusing us of being fucking Psy motherfuckers? Trying to think we're mind readers or some shit like that? Fucking lithid motherfuckers. Is that what you're saying, you son of a bitch? We're a fucking war hero, and you need to fucking show some respect before I jack slap your ass.
as you
The
channel
fuck?
your inner Billy Bob Thornton from Bad Santa. I fought you motherfuckers in Nam. It's this doesn't concern you, little boy. so, so yeah, I mean, the idea of a misjump isn't. It is brought. It's brought up that that's not impossible, but it is also brought up that it seems like that coming out at the world is a pretty lucky misjump, which it happens. Jace, go ahead and make a deception plus intellect check, and you can make this with a boon, so you can roll 3 and take the 2 highest.
All right. So that's going to be a 7.
Okay, so basically, you guys are questioned a little bit. Probably. Wow. Okay, so they grill you over the course of about 6 hours, and of course they're grilling you each individually. But Jace is coming up with the idea that it was a misjump. Because they're right. Yes, there are scout service reports about the high port at the world, and that there's some weird shit going on there about the populace of the world not knowing what's going on. The reports for the world are very odd, but you are able to sell this idea, and as now that the crew is back together at the Eurisco, Admiral Cron calls everybody to one of the cargo decks for Captain Lynot's funeral.
Mhm.
And he announces that hold on here. Yeah, okay. He announces that that following the funeral, the rest of the punitive fleet will go back to basically pirate hunting duty, but the Eurisco and its crew, we will be jumping for Drinax. And he says we're going to show up and have a state dinner with this kingdom of Drinax, and there have been rumors that have come back about how Drinax is kind of the new up and coming power in the region. And during the funeral, they've got the black starburst flag draped over a what looks like a really fucking big coffin. That's I don't know. Maybe the old woman was a little bit overweight, but that's a huge coffin. And Vice Admiral Kron stands up and says, "We have waited on Birney and now in Paul because I intend to be thorough. We have waited here because I intend to be sure. And we have waited here because I intend to find the pirate world and destroy it once and for all. And I tell you, I have found it. And now, in Captain Lynot's name and in the Lynot's memory, the Eurisco shall plan its attack to burn that world to cinders." Now,
Woo!
he
It's not inappropriate.
He
doesn't specify. I mean, the first thing that he says, of course, in the first half is that we're going to go to a state dinner at Drinax, and then he announces that he has found the pirate world and plans to burn it to cinders. And so the crew is all looking at one another like, "Holy shit! What does this mean?" There's rumors going around the ship now that perhaps Drinax is this famed pirate world. Yeah,
That makes sense.
gee, I wonder if it could be. And so there are like I said, there's a bunch of rumors going around. And you guys hear about it throughout the week. But the Eurisco jumps for Drinax. What are you guys doing during your week in jump?
I'm gonna study more tactics, naval.
Okay.
I'm studying engineering.
Okay.
What? No, don't. Make your character.
Okay, maybe I should do something else.
Yeah, be different.
I don't know.
Or do whatever you want. I don't know.
I could study art or flyer.
Wait, isn't it like you have deception but not persuade?
I have deception and persuade because I got one of them during my last.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. I don't know. What else would go with your skill set? Carouse, broker, leadership.
We might tuck these characters away, and we might in the future bring them back out and do like a fifth frontier war adventure with these characters, which I think would be pretty hilarious.
Leadership seems like a good choice. Maybe I'll do that.
There's streetwise too. I don't think any of us have it.
I have streetwise at 0.
Oh, well, never mind. You have it then. You're a charisma guy.
Yeah.
Thank goodness somebody has some.
I'll change my skill of leadership.
I've got a decent social. I've got social at 10. That ain't bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have
that's pretty
social at fucking 6. It's terrible.
Mine is
Well,
12.
When you
Jesus.
become high enough ranking, you automatically get a 10. It's like your social's 10. And
We
if
got
it's
knocked
already
down a rank when you were gone.
Yeah, everybody but you got knocked down a rank.
Yeah. Oh,
oh, I'm sorry.
oh well.
Is it my fault? Could it
No,
have
it
been
was ours.
avoided?
It's because
Okay.
I told the truth about how the old woman died, and Admiral Kron did not like that at all.
Right.
Got
How
really
did
pissed
she
at
die?
us. The weird fat guy that was always around was
Ogilvy.
psionic, and he probably like murdered her by
They
making it look like she had a stroke.
they they Happy went to the armory and paid off the quartermaster with a half a bottle of booze and checked out some psi goggles. And the excuse was that they needed it for eye protection because they were drunk and they were playing paintball. And somehow he he made his deception check, mostly because he got a bonus because of the booze. And then he put him on and looked at Ogilvy, and Ogilvy lit up like a Christmas tree. He's
And
actually
Ogilvy's been disposed of?
Ogilvy. They reported
He was in the
him,
brig last we checked.
and they discovered that Lynott was dead, and they reported Ogilvy as soon as they found out that he was psionic, and that, of course, prompted an internal investigation who did the same thing. They used psi detectors and found out that these guys were right. And so Ogilvy has been arrested under the Psionics Suppression Acts and is presently sitting in the brig somewhere.
Yeah, and see if Kron weren't like in on it somehow, then he probably would be really grateful that we saved him from possibly getting murdered by like a rogue psionic element. But he was really mad and he busted us all down a rank, which makes me think that he was like pissed that we messed with something that he was into.
Yeah, the reasoning behind him busting you down was because of using extreme high tech prototype equipment. I mean, because the psi goggles are like tech level 16, right?
Yeah.
And he busted you guys on that, but that seems a little bit draconian, considering that you uncovered a hidden scion in his ranks, and I believe like you guys had kind of noticed that he was. You kind of cornered him. There was nothing that he could really do for Ogilvy. It was out of his hands at that point because you went directly to internal ship security and turned him in. And so, yeah, he wasn't thrilled about that.
Yeah.
How would you guys feel about sneaking into Gron's quarters and beating him to death with square tubing? and then moving him into the cargo bay and making it look like the cargo racks fucked up and fell on it.
You know, having to lie about the ship was really stressful because I have like absolutely no skill or aptitude for deception, so I don't want to do anymore for a while, man.
Well, I mean, now, you know, the idea is doing it in such a way that we don't get questioned at all. That's
man.
That's the thing. But I understand, you know,
there's
back in my day,
this is a bad idea, and we sing it back on Sleeve. So
yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, all right. Well, I was spending my time in space drinking and partying around and celebrating the death of the Skull pirate fucks.
Okay.
And Ogilvy getting sent away. I think that's funny, but I don't want to lose a rank, so I guess I'll just do that on the down low.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be like, man, I think Gron and that Ogilvy dude, I think they suck each other's dick all the time.
Wow, big if true.
Yeah. I think they were talking about using their personal protein to make icing for cupcakes. Pretty terrible.
So briefly switching back to your pirate travelers.
Oh shit. Shuffling the paperwork.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, so we are going to need the character sheets.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it's okay. I can find it. It's on this computer.
So
There you
your pirate travelers, following their last little side romp over on Ogma. As you guys have come out of jump and you've just docked at the Royal Docks once again on the floating palace. You haven't been really back to the floating palace in some time, and you make your way to the throne room, the court, through the court chambers and the throne room here at the center, kind of touching base and figuring out what's going on. And coming into the courtroom, or into the throne room. The throne room. As you are coming in, Prince Herrick kind of meets you in the hallway. He's coming from another hallway and kind of meets up with you guys as you're coming in, and he reaches over and he hands you guys, hands Captain Beth, a sealed envelope, and the envelope is on Imperial stationery, and it is sealed with a wax Imperial. Actually, it is sealed with a wax seal of Tobiah. It's not an Imperial seal. It is a family seal of the Duke of Tobiah.
Cool. Let's open it.
Opening this is what you see.
Oh my.
So I think Devin already knows what this is.
Wow.
So I will quickly read through this. My dear Iridani, I write this letter in my quarters illuminated by the light from a dozen pirate ships that burn like torches. The litany of my victories here is already too long to recite, and it will not be long before I return to your uncle's court to be acclaimed the victor of the Outrim Void, and on that day none shall gainsay our marriage. When, I hear you ask, as if you were here in the room with me, our souls entwined across the parsecs? When? When I find the fabled pirate's world, that secret stronghold of villainy, and when I blast it to cinders, thus putting an end to piracy amid the stars forever. I pray you, go to the world of Illigan, and look upon the prison camps. See the vile rogues and scoundrels who daily prey upon the poor innocents until I put an end to their murderous ways. Then, if your courage holds, jump further rimward and join me here on Birney. My friends and I yearn for news from home, not to mention the comforts and provisions we were accustomed to on Tobiah. Supplies run thin. The men had to eat the wagon wheels. Eric demands Tobiah and brandy. Vasher wants cigars, and why, I think even our dour Ogleby, who is currently in jail, mind you, although I don't think he was in jail. No, he wasn't in jail when this was written. I think even dour Ogleby would be cheered by some wine from home. For myself, all I desire is you. Victory will come soon, but not, I think, soon enough to soothe my aching soul. Rest assured that I strive daily to find the pirate's world, and when I do, why, it shall be the pyre that lights your route to me. 1,000 adorations, Crond. So this is obviously a fairly personal letter, and Prince Herrick tells you that a messenger essentially that this was transferred. It was transferred from a Imperial courier ship at Tech World, and it was transferred, and they reshipped it to Drinax.
All right.
Wow.
And so the question, of course, is, and Prince Herrick says that this is obviously something for you, and he says that because there's some information in here that let me move you back over here. There's some information in this letter that should be kind of concerning. First, I mean, I can point it out, but I'll let you guys kind of suss out what that information is. But there's a couple of, there's at least two pieces of information here that the pirates could really put a cramp in his style.
A sector map, please.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to see where Illigan is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
We could free a bunch of prisoners if we feel like it.
That
see.
Sounds like some shit we would do.
So you are here at Drinax.
Yes.
And jump. And Illigan is all the way up here.
Dang, that's really far.
So
That is true.
At J2,
We have to go to either Illigan or Thieve and warn Thieve or rescue people at Illigan.
So you're
That
talking
seems
about
like
4
a
weeks
course
to
of action.
Illigan, and if you're guessing that and I mean this is a pretty safe assumption. If you're guessing that he is speaking of Thieve as being the pirate world, I mean you can't beat both places at once. So there's Illigan, there's Thieve, but there's one other piece of information in there that.
Well, he says he's in Tyranny.
Well, right now we know that he's at Paul. I mean, you don't know that, but the letter says he's at Birney. But the other piece of information, of course, is that his fiance, Eridani, is if this letter is true, is headed for Illigan.
So we can go free the prisoners and kidnap her. And Ping is like, oh, I love kidnapping some motherfuckers. That reminds me of the good old days, right there.
You guys already met her. You've actually met her. You met her.
Oh, that's right.
At Verito during the grand opening of the new Jadeco High Port, their headquarters in the Trojan Reach.
Yeah.
Well, maybe what we should do is go warn Thieve and then see if they want to free any prisoners over there, because I don't know if any of our guys are up there, but definitely some Thieve people are in that prison for sure. Right?
Well, more than likely, yeah.
Yeah.
But if we're going to kidnap her, we have to go to Illigan too.
Right.
I just didn't know if we personally wanted to do that, or if we wanted
Thieve
to go
has
to
a moon
Thieve
gun. Are we really worried about Thieve getting overrun? I mean, it's got fucking a moon gun.
That's true. They moved a moonlet into orbit around Thieve, and as a high port.
And if they try and land and invade, they'll get fucked by all those assassin ladies. So
we can send a message.
Yeah, we could. We could send a message.
Let's do it.
We'll send a message and we'll go to a brand new planet that we've never been to. That sounds cool.
Yeah. And can we bring our fleet? Our 2 Harriers and the Reorix?
Well, there's no guarantee that they're thinking of Thieve, though. We need to leave some kind of defense for Drinax in case they think it's us for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, technically, you've got some additional ships. I mean, you don't have the largest ship that is currently in Drinax's navy is the Rasputin, which is 1,000 tons. But
that's pretty good.
I mean, the Eurisco is a 75,000 ton cruiser.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Rasputin is nothing. You know,
Okay.
and all of your other ships are, of course, they're still starships, but they're much smaller. They're anything from 100 tons up to, I guess theoretically 800 tons, probably more between 100 and 600 tons. So you've got a lot of them, but um, you know, if the punitive fleet comes in, they're not going to be much of a stopgap.
Yeah.
But if
Okay.
it's, yeah, but if we get his baby, you know, and
Mhm.
grab her, I mean, he'll have to he'll have to play ball.
I'll have to parlay at some level.
Yeah, and if we free all the pirates that he's so proud to have, I mean that's
That's
gotta
pretty
hurt
bad.
his. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we should go in as a Harrier and just go real sneak and try to do a prison
That's
break.
what I think. Yes, like not
Yeah.
draw a lot of attention and mess everything. It's not, it's really hard to build something. It's not so hard to break it. So
Yeah.
messing
I
up the
like.
prison will be
Yeah.
easier.
Okay, so the pirates can take 4 weeks of study time.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Of persuade, that gives me up to 8.
So go ahead and make
So I need a wall.
go ahead and make a persuade plus. Your choice. You can either do persuade plus education or persuade plus social. I just have this Captain Beth practicing in front of a mirror.
Just bitching at people is what I thought I would do. I guess it's 12. I have to have made it.
Yeah, you get a rank in persuade.
Awesome.
Did anybody else complete a study period?
Well, I did my first stint of the performer.
Okay.
I have performer 1, but I'm trying to get 2, so I have to do 2 8-week stints.
Right. So go ahead and make a performer 1 plus your choice again, either education or social. You can be fabulous for yourself.
8.
That's your first study week, so you need one more study period, another 8 weeks, and you can bring it to 2.
All right, so then I can do 3 more weeks on that because we did 4 weeks.
Correct.
There we go. All right.
And did Keith get anything?
I failed my check. I was trying to do art holography, and I got a 4.
Boo.
Yeah.
Draw better. Jeez.
Does it help to have an instructor?
There is something for that. Let me see. It'd probably help if I mean, the index is good. If I remember what it's called. It is called. What were you training up on?
Art holography.
Trying to draw better, basically.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it so that I can do crazy stuff with the whole of the ship.
Yeah, and I have art holography too. So I mean, if I could teach and
you both
help
want to
them.
do art holography together? Are you forming a club?
we're trying to we're trying to do the rock hardware thing.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I mean I have the skill. If it helps him get his skill built up, I'm willing to.
Go ahead and make
help.
Go ahead and make an art holography plus, I guess in this case, education check, because you're teaching.
Okay. Yeah.
See what you get.
I gotta look at my
Keep in mind he
education.
got
Yeah,
a
okay.
4. So,
Well, no, that was a different roll. This is a 7.
so that doesn't help. But I'm looking for something else. We used this on Friday night.
My dice suck tonight. I'm glad we didn't do real fighting.
Right.
Yeah, nobody died, so it's a good time
Yeah.
to roll badly.
There is like an electronic trainer. I don't remember. Hairstyler. Hmm. I want to say that it gives like a +2. Maybe it's tool. Maybe. No. I know it's in the Central Supply catalog. And I just can't remember the name of it. Yeah, I would say it would give a +2, but that's still not enough for him to succeed. So
Well,
because he got a 4, you missed it by 1. So that doesn't grant him any bonus, and a +2 would only bring him up to 6. So that's not enough.
yeah, I just confused him.
Right.
You know, I got too technical. You know, like you got to do the yaw and the wah and the and then the him hotty waddy dotty, and that's what makes it because I'm self-taught. You know, so I've got my own verbiage.
Your pirate characters for the next 4 jumps are on their way to Illigan. You guys sent a messenger to Thief. Are you sending it to like Admiral Dorokin, or are you just sending it? I mean, he's kind
I'm
of
sending it to the pirate lords.
Okay. So for all the lords of Thief,
They're gonna get a copy of the letter that we got.
They're getting
That's
a
what
carbon. They're getting CC'd on everything.
Yeah, we gotta read this guy's gross love notes because he's a dipshit and sent it the wrong place.
He is a fucking tool. So you guys jump away to Illigan, back to your Navy characters. You guys come out of jump at Drinax, and the floating palace seems to be a buzz. I mean, first of all, the fleet that is amassed at Drinax and running, what patrols that they're running, just about shits their pants when an Imperial cruiser comes out of jump. The Eurosco, the Vice Admiral Kron was at least nice enough. He's not bringing his entire punitive fleet. No, he sent the rest of the punitive fleet back out into the Trojan Reach to hunt pirates. Kind of based mostly around this area. So it's kind of funny that he picked Birney as his location. And the reason I say that it's funny is that he's not, super far from Tobiah, which is just up here. That's, he's not super far from Tobiah being down in Birney, but the bulk of the pirate activity happens over here on the Dust Belt. And so his fleets are spending most of their time between the border with Tobiah and over here at the Harate. It's not. It's a little weird that he picked Birney to be his headquarters, but whatever. He jumps into Drinax and the fleet captains and all of these pirate ships shit their pants in a collective manner, and he immediately makes to dock with the floating palace. And as soon as they dock with the royal docks of, or not really dock, the Eurisco doesn't dock. He comes over in a couple of boats and docks with the royal docks and makes their way into the royal palace. And of course, the floating palace had a bit of time, and King Oleb, who has been convalescing all of this time, is well enough that he is going to put on a pretty fantastic state dinner, and you guys are invited as but you're going to be in, of course, in dress uniform, but you're also going to be more or less honor guard kind of situation. In this situation, any ceremonial swords that you might have, for whatever acts that you have been promoted for, would be allowed to be carried, as well as sidearms. But not really combat armor. You're in dress uniform. So, how is Colonel Zayden? What's Colonel Zayden packing?
Man, I've just got my basic dress uniform on, and I'm not really worried too much about Colonel Zayden's been drinking a lot lately, and he knows he's a hothead, so he's gonna leave the weapons behind.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, I don't want to fuck up.
How about Jace? Nope, you're muted. There you go.
Most of my guns are long guns, so I don't know what I could have as a sidearm.
Standard issue sidearm would be a. And I have this. Now I have to. Here's another one. Where did I find that? I found it. I might have a picture for you. I think. This is a new book too. At least this time I know what the name of it is. Nope, it's not in that one.
What do you have? Do you have any sidearms?
I don't have a sidearm, but I was planning on carrying, like, the Marines always carry a sword.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, I would think that you guys would probably have like a ceremonial dress uniform sword.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a sword and probably like a revolver or something of some sort.
I would guess it would be like more like a Gauss pistol or something.
Yeah, there is. That's right.
I could just put that down. I don't mind.
That's really. Yeah, it would be a Gauss pistol. Would be standard issue, and probably a some kind of sword. That's weird. I know that I have it in here somewhere, but I don't remember which book it's in.
It's okay.
But there is,
We'll just wing it with that.
and it's your Gauss pistol as a Marine would be different than the one that would be issued to Happy, being a member of the Navy. And the Gauss,
Okay.
the one thing I do remember about this is that the pistol that is issued to the Navy, the Marines make fun of them for it, because
Yeah.
it seems kind of small compared to the naval version. But yeah, you guys would have a ceremonial sword.
Cool. I'm looking
Probably,
fresh, I
probably
hope.
like a rapier or some kind of sword that would be, standard issue. Something that's
Cool.
probably fairly useless, to be quite
Yeah.
honest. Um,
You can't open boxes with it or something, though.
yeah,
Right.
right, yeah, you know.
Okay.
Probably, honestly, it's probably a cutlass. So, I mean, it's not completely useless. It does 3D damage, but that would probably be standard uniform. Also standard shipboard weaponry. And so you guys are kind of you would all be armed with a Gauss pistol and your cutlass, and as dress honor guard for this state function. And the hall, which it would be showing on this map, probably, yeah, it's going to be right here in the Great Hall is where this big shindig is happening. And so this is like a huge, like, stadium sized ballroom, more or less. It can be modified to do multiple things, but right now they have set it up to function as a ballroom. And when you come into this ballroom, you see that there are a lot of people are. Well, you see quite a few people that are dressed in the red Drinaxian royal uniforms. You see a lot of other people that are dressed as nice as they can be. I mean, they're not. I mean, it's not like you've got homeless people that are getting dressed up or anything. And maybe in some cases, but all of these people, whether they're in uniform or not, you can see that they all have they have all been issued a sash, and they all have literally every person sitting in here has some kind of fruit salad going on the on the sash. And so, and you being Imperial Marines would have no idea about the truth or the facts of life aboard the floating palace. Your pirate characters, however, would realize that this is completely normal, because literally every person that is living, the lowest citizen who works as a janitor is a duke of something or other, and they have some royal list of royal titles and litany that goes on for because they unstopped the toilet one time, and they were their parents were given a title for keeping the plumbing clean. So everybody here has a royal title. Everybody is, ambassador to whatever, duke of what not, and etc. You guys just see a room full of potentially royalty, and so you wouldn't really have a whole lot of idea of, you feel surrounded is the way that it feels. But everybody can make a recon plus social check.
Oof. Wow, I did okay somehow. I got a 10.
Nice.
6.
Oof.
Hey,
So Darren is busy eating some canapes at the banquet table, and and uh, Zayden, kind of the way this is set up is, of course, Admiral Krond and his cronies and most of the attendants, including you guys, for the Admiralty are kind of you've got the guest of honor kind of table. You're at the head of the the auditorium like there's a big like you're at a wedding, and of course King Prince Herrick and his father are sitting there. The king are sitting there, King Oleb, and they are chatting with Vice Admiral Krond, and Zayden, you get the distinct impression that the conversation from King Oleb's standpoint, King Oleb seems very, very excited. He also seems like he's probably a little drunk, which is not unusual for King Oleb. But he seems like King Oleb seems like he's drunk, and he seems like he's quite excited by the idea that the Empire, and he brings this up over and over, that it is finally time that the Empire has come. The Third Imperium has shown up to his fair kingdom, and that this is a sign that Drinax is recognized as a power in the region. And you can see that kind of sitting next, you've got Oleb, you've got Prince Herrick, and then you have the ambassador, the Imperial ambassador, he was kind of tossed over to Drinax a long time ago, kind of like in exile. He's been living here, and he is, he looks like he's rather incredulous at the idea that the Imperium is recognizing Drinax. He doesn't seem like he believes that, and neither does Prince Herrick.
Well, if he's talking all that shit, like what has Drinax done in the region to warrant it being considered a powerhouse or a force? There's pirates running everywhere, from what I hear.
Oleb picks that up, and he is just about to say something about the piracy, and the Imperial consul Thal Pollock, who is the ambassador from the Imperium, kind of cuts off Oleb and says that Drinax is the most stable option for creating a new polity here in the Trojan Reach, and that presently King Oleb already has verbal agreements from multiple worlds across the Reach that have agreed to join a new kingdom of Drinax, and that the good king has plans to, in the very near future, to put to curb piracy in the region. And Prince Herrick is quick to speak up, and again cuts off his father before Oleb can really say too much. He says, "Yes, we want to make sure that in doing so, that we don't anger our neighbors rimward. We don't want the Herate to get the Aslan to get the wrong idea. We don't want to send out armed vessels and disrupt too much trade. That could become a diplomatic quagmire.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Let's
I
put
mean,
all our eggs in this basket. That sounds like a great idea.
yeah.
Do it.
Right.
I think the only way to solidify this, though, is to honestly, we all ought to do 2 revolvers and then talk about it. A revolver is
King Olaf's
6
all
shots.
for that.
Oh,
revolver
man.
is 6 shots. You know, some worlds, you know, their standard revolver could be 8, but you know, generally those people serve low grade alcohol. There's nothing to brag about.
So Oleb takes a shining to you and to Zayden and says, "Why, that's a fabulous idea. Have you ever tried Napoleon boxing?"
I have it.
Says, "Oh, let me tell you, it is a fantastic pastime. It is a great sport. What we do is we go up onto the top deck of the floating palace, and we have a boxing match. And whoever doesn't fall off the floating palace is the winner."
Well, man, my man Jace here can beat anybody. He's a badass.
Oh,
I'm telling
jeez.
you, I seen this motherfucker, man, take on 3 people at once with nothing but his dick. He just fucking swiped them around like it was a bullwhip.
So,
Well, it's true, but you don't have to say it.
Old Jace leaves 3 tracks in the snow when he walks.
so Darren, you.
No.
Oh wait, no. Darren was eating his canapes. That's right. So Jace, while Zayden is kind of in this conversation with people he probably shouldn't be talking to, Jace, you see kind of off against the wall. You see that there's a thin man with a kind of a rakish beard. Goatee, and he's dressed well, but he's not wearing a sash or any regalia whatsoever.
What a loser.
And he's just kind of
Yeah.
standing up against the wall by himself. He sticks out because he doesn't have a whole bunch of shit all over him.
Does he look like a religious guy or something? Like,
No.
can I figure out what his
No,
problem is?
he's wearing a suit, but his collar's open. He's not wearing a tie, and he's just kind of standing there away from everybody else. Like he almost is acting like he was told to be here, but he doesn't really want to be seen by too many people.
Is there anybody nearby where I can go, like, who's that guy?
Oh yeah,
What's his deal?
yeah. You grab somebody passing by, and they tell you, oh, that is Roshondo. He is a trader that makes common stops here at the Imperial floating palace or at the floating palace, and he runs a bazaar here on the floating palace, allowing us to get some of the much needed goods that we required. And this guy that you're talking to, he isn't really. He's wearing a suit, but then when you look down, you see that he's wearing instead of dress shoes with his suit, he's wearing like work boots with gravity soles on them, and they're kind of spattered in paint.
This planet's pretty interesting, I gotta tell you. Man.
And
I like their king. I'm telling you, their king is good guy.
And this guy that you're talking to with the paint spattered work boots, he's got a sash on. under his suit jacket, though, the top collar of his suit jacket's kind of open. You see that he's not wearing a dress shirt. He's just got a t-shirt on underneath. But he's got a sash with a whole bunch of, royal insignia and titles and all sorts of shit, campaign ribbons and all sorts of shit. But in how he's talking to you, he talks like one of the Marines. He doesn't sound like anybody who's royal. He's like, oh yeah, that's Rashando. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I think I could put 2 and 2 together about what like the royals are like here. So
Yeah, right. So yeah, this dinner goes on, and Zayden, you over here again. Kron kind of he kind of puts the screws to King Oleb, and he tells Oleb that well, you would best do something about the piracy in this region, because you wouldn't want me to have to do something about it for you. We're going to clean up the Trojan Reach, and I would hope, good king, that we don't find out that Drinax had anything to do with any of this piracy.
I don't think this fucking dude's here with anything to do with pirates, man. I mean, all the dude is he wants to drink and go up on the top and box.
And
I'm like, thinking, does he have it together enough?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Pirate? I'm just like personally thinking, like, does he have it together enough to like organize crime? It doesn't really seem like it to me. So
that's a good. Yeah. Well, considering that this whole thing was originally his daughter's idea, and Oleb to Zayden, Oleb kind of raises his chalice and says, and it's this gaudy gold chalice with gems all over it, and like the it's engraved with the Imperial Star Dragon from Sindal. And he's, here, yes, we should go up and do some boxing. Vice Admiral, have you ever been interested in boxing? And the Vice Admiral's like, absolutely not. I have no interest in any of that.
What about Kron? Oh, that's
the Vice Admiral. Yeah.
Well, you got to come watch. Hell, let's all go up on the roof and have revolvers and fight, hit each other in the mouth.
Yeah, and Oleb's like, you over there, bring us a round of shot glasses and go get me some of my best brandy. And we're going to go up and we're going to do some good Napoleon boxing.
Heck yeah.
Sounds great.
Okay.
And one of Oleb's attendants says, sir, should I go get your gravity belts? Yeah, yes, of course. And then he turns and he looks, he stops and thinks for a moment, he turns and he goes, you better bring some extras.
Sweet.
See, if they were pirates, he's looking at Kron. See, if they were involved in pirates, they wouldn't use gravity belts. They'd expect people to die. We'd be drinking out of skulls and shit.
Right.
At that, Kron does kind of chuckle a bit, and he says, "Colonel, you've seen way too many movies."
Well, that's all there is to do in jump space. That and masturbate. I was told that I was using up too many Kleenex.
the fabricators couldn't make enough Kleenex.
I'm a Marine, damn it. I'm full of protein. No.
So your state dinner with Drinax kind of goes on like this. I'll allow Jace. Jace, you can make a melee unarmed plus either Dex or Strength check, and we're just gonna roll once for this. Wow.
Okay.
Oleb did all right.
Oh, damn it. Okay, 5. I did really shitty.
So Oleb ends up knocking. You guys go a couple rounds, and Oleb ends up knocking Jace off of down and off of the side of the floating palace, but luckily because of the grav belt, Jace just comes kind of floating back up. But Oleb wins this round, and and then of course orders his attendants to pour more shots and to celebrate Jace and their attempt to best the king. I'm the best at Napoleon boxing. You can see that he's getting more and more drunk throughout the night.
It's probably good that he won, honestly. I don't want to knock an old drunk man off the planet.
Oh yeah,
that's true. And you all of you can make a recon plus intellect check.
because I've been drinking so much, I'm gonna go ahead and take a -1.
Okay. Okay.
Oh hell yeah! I fucked it up. I'm in my fucking boxers and in one shoe, and I'm just got a drink in my hand, and I'm talking shit.
I got a 9.
Okay.
I got 10.
Okay. So Jace and Darren notice two things. The first is that in between walking from the grand hall to the to the elevators that took you to the top of the palace, Oleb didn't walk with the rest of you. He's been in a wheelchair or a grav chair. And the other thing
You
that
got beat by a dude in a wheelchair, Jay.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
he is able to walk, but he is not for very long distance. The other thing that he knows is that Oleb is so fat that he can't wear just one grav belt. He has to wear 2 in order for it to lift him up.
He's jolly. That's cool.
He is quite jolly. And so this whole thing kind of goes on, and Zayden, in your drunken state, you overhear some more bits of information, and you can hear that Vice Admiral Krond is kind of off to the side talking with Prince Herrick during this boxing match, and he is asking Prince Herrick if he's ever heard of anything about a pirate planet called Thieves, and whether or not he's ever heard the name of a traitorous Imperial admiral named Dorokin.
Oh, they're on him.
But didn't we sabotage Drokin?
No, Dorokin is still at the top of the food chain as the one of the Lords of Thieves.
What was that son of a bitch's name that we sent to the space station? That was
Remember.
yeah. I don't.
It's not really a good sign that he's still running around, that you haven't been thinking about him. Tell you that. If he was still running around, Chris would have been kind of keeping track of him.
That's true. That's true. Well, we haven't had to really deal with him
since we think we killed him.
Right. His name was. I need to pull up all my Lords of Thieves. Peter Vallis.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Peter Vallis is as far as there have been a number of rumors. Your pirate characters have probably heard a number of rumors that Peter Vallis is still out there, but nobody has any confirmed reports of seeing Peter Vallis. He is. You guys saw the station blow. Well, you left a bomb and the station blew up. So him and his crew were there, but there have been reports of his ships flying his banner along the Dust Belt, and especially continuing to conduct pirate raids along the Herate, because Peter Vallis just has a complete hard-on for the Aslan.
Yeah, he's a racist.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Glorious Empire did kill his daughter and
whole
his
family.
wife, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I mean, there are reports of that happening and reports of his pirate banner being flown on these ships, but there's been you've had no real actual confirmation.
All right.
So we're gonna break here for this week. Next week we will pick it up with you guys heading to Illigan and what you're gonna find on Illigan.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
was fun.
All
So
right.
are we done with the Marine guys for until you tell us, or are we going back to them?
We'll probably be going back to them next week. We'll definitely be with the pirates. There is a possibility that we'll be going back to the Marines. So keep them handy. But this particular adventure is quickly speeding up towards a finale as well. So.
Well,
Excellent.
good. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm excited about the next adventure. So
You mean the next campaign? Yes.
yeah, I am. I'm having fun with this, but we've been doing these guys for years.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I like mixing it up. Kind of, I like the beginnings a lot more than I like the ends. What can I say?
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right.
Oh,
All right,
I'm still having fun. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
If I wasn't having fun, I wouldn't have played tonight because I was tired. But,
That's true.
Yeah.
That is
Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I'll see you next week. We're gonna go kidnap and kill some son of bitches. It'll be a real wholesome time.
All right. I will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thanks.
Have a good one.